have Q2, week 6. I hope you guys have been keeping these this week because they are going to definitely help you on the quiz tomorrow. For the first one, this one I had to read it, just to read it. I reread it like a mathematician, trying to find clue words. And then I had to reread it again and think, okay, how in the world am I going to solve this? How many of you had trouble with number 1? I did. So it says, Kit bought a soft drink and a sandwich for $9. So I know the sandwich and the soft drink are going to be $9 together. What was the price of each if the sandwich cost 3.5 times as much as a soft drink? Okay, so I'm going to be on my paper and I'm going to think, all right, I need the drink plus the soft drink is going to equal $9, right? Then I go back and it says, what is the price of each if the sandwich is 3.5 times as much as the soft drink? So my drink is 3.5 times my soft drink. So that's how I get the drink. I really don't like using an S next to number 5, but that's a letter. You guys understand that? So then it's the 3.5 times the soft drink plus the soft drink equals 9. Now we can just solve it. Draw my line. I'm going to add these two together. This is like 1S, right? So what's 1 plus 3.5? So I have 4.5S equals 9. How do I get rid of my S? Divide by 4.5. So I'm dividing both sides by 4.5. So then I take 9 divided by 4.5. Well, when I divide with the decimal, I move the decimal over 1. So then I have to move my decimal over 1, and that is 2. So x equals 2. X, well, it should say S, so I better stay with the same. So S is my soft drink, right? To find the, oh guys, I wrote that wrong. This should be my sandwich. This is, because I keep saying soft drink. Do you guys understand what I'm doing wrong? Yeah. This is my drink. Can we just leave those there like that? Leave the letters there like that, is that okay? So this is, I'm gonna write soft drink, that's what I have, okay? So if my soft drink is $2, to find my sandwich, I take my S times 3.5. So 3.5 times 2 is 7. Move the decimal over, right? So my sandwich is $7. Do those two add up to $9? Yes. Besides Olivia, did anybody else get this problem correct? Nice. Good job. This one was hard for me to think about. All right, number 2. 9 minus 5x is greater than negative 81. Draw my line. How do I get rid of my 9? What? Subtract by 9 on both sides. So these cancel each other out. I'm left with a negative 5x is greater than, well, these are both negative, so I add. So I got a negative 90. Then I divide by a negative 5, divide by a negative 5. 90 divided by 5 is 18. And a negative divided by a negative becomes a positive. Because I divided by a negative, what do I have to do to my sign? Switch it around. So then x is less than 18. How many of you got this one right? Very good. And you guys remember to switch the signs? Awesome. So I have solve and graph the inequality on the number line. A negative W over 2 is greater than or equal to a negative 7. Draw my line. This is like dividing, correct? And we're going to keep the negative with the 2. We're not going to keep the negative with the W. Does that make sense? If we keep the negative with the 2, then that will end up with a positive. So if I'm dividing by a negative 2, I'm going to multiply by a negative 2. These cancel each other out. Multiply by a negative 2. So I'm left with W, and a negative 2 times a negative 7 makes a positive 14. Because I'm dividing by a or multiplying by a negative, I need to switch the signs again. Whenever you multiply or divide by a negative, switch that sign. So now my number line is going to go 12, 13, 14, 15. W is less than or equal to. So it doesn't need to be an open circle or a filled in circle. Filled in at the 14. Now which way is my line going to point? To the left, because that's the way the arrow is basically telling me, go to the left. So I go to the left. 4. In the problem to the left, if Tim mows 9 lawns this week, how much will he have exceeded his goal? So I have to go back to my original 120 plus 30 times x is supposed to be, I need to go back, what is it, greater than 313, right? That's the original problem. So then I'm going to put, so he's saying 9 lawns, so 9 needs to go in for my x. So 120 plus 30 times 9 is greater than 310. So I have to just solve this side. 9 times 30 is 270. So I have 120 plus 270. I'm going to line them up. It's 390. And it asked, we need to underline, how much will he exceed? So how much over is he going? Well, you take 390 minus 310, which is 80. So he went over by $80. How many of you got number 4 correct? Do you guys see how it's important to keep going back and keeping our work? 5. Stephanie ran 4 laps around the school track in 7 minutes and 30 seconds. How many seconds per lap is that? So I'm changing everything to seconds. So if I have 7 minutes, 30 seconds, I have to change the 7 minutes to seconds. How do I change minutes to seconds? Times it by 60. I hang out that 0, bring it down. 6 times 7 is 42, and then I'm going to add my 30 seconds to that. So it took her 450 seconds, but it said 4 laps. So my label, this is my rate, it'll be laps per second, correct? So then, oh wait, no, I should have it going the other way, right?
Yeah.
I should have seconds per lap, because it says how many because I have to go back here, how many seconds per lap, so seconds have to be on top. So seconds per lap. Now be careful, because sometimes they might say how many laps per second. They can also do it that way, so it's important for you to go back and read it, because whatever's first goes on top. So my seconds is 450, and we did it in 4 laps. So then I have to take 450 divided by 4. That's 2 left. So I'm going to add, when you're doing rates, make sure that you use decimals. So it'd be 112.5 seconds per lap. You need to have that label. So whenever we're doing rates and you're doing division, make sure you're keeping it in decimal form. Don't make it a mixed number. 6. What does the point 1, 2 represent on the graph? I go over 1 and that is actually up to a 2, right? Because here it is. So even though you can't read these numbers very good. But number of minutes is my x. So guys, I want you to write this on your paper. X equals number of minutes. Y equals number of gallons. Okay? Then we know that the constant is always going to equal y over x. I want you to rewrite that so you get used to writing that. Then we said 0.12. So the 2 is my y. My x is my 1. Y is the number of, or I'm just going to put gallons instead of writing number of gallons. I'm going to say for 2 gallons, it takes 1 minute. So to explain this, it is 2 gallons per minute, or 2 gallons per minute. These are just some extra notes I want you to make sure you have since we are getting into this chapter. 7, Alex rides 45 miles in 3 hours. So when I do it, it's going to be miles per hour. Always start with your label. If you didn't do that, put it on there. That's everything first. Always label first when we're doing rates, so you know which one goes on top, which one goes on the bottom. Because just like up at number 5, label first, because sometimes you can do laps per second or seconds per lap. So you have to be very careful on how you read it. Okay? So now I'm going to fill it in. He rides 45 miles in 3 hours. Okay? So it says, write an equation that shows the relationship between the distance d and the time t that if Alex rides at a constant rate of speed. Here's that word, circle it, constant rate. We're writing an equation. If I go back to my notes, my constant rate and equation would be y equals k times x, correct? Guys remember, that's why it's in those notes, and that's why you need to get those notes out, okay? So, and then y is just going to be my distance, okay? We have to find the constant. Well, I better finish this over here. 45 divided by 3 is 15. So it's 15 miles per hour, and so that's going to be my K. X is my, which one's on the, this is always Y, X. So X is going to be my time. Distance is my Y, X is my time. Do you guys understand that, how I did that this time? Going back to this equation, that's why I put a very big box around it when we took notes the other day. Didn't anybody get this one correct? Excellent. Is anybody still confused on how I had to do that? Okay, we'll do more practicing and do it. Number 8. A wrestler competes in 25 matches. Of those matches, he wins 17. What percent of the matches did the wrestler win? So he won 17 out of 25. How do I find this as a percent? I'm gonna find it as a decimal first. So 17 divided by 25. 0 goes in there 6, 50, another 0 goes in there 8 times. So now I have a decimal of 0.68, but now I need to change it to a percent. So changing it to percent, you move it 2 places to the right, and I get 68%. Did anybody do this another way? Brody?
I did the fraction form, I turned 25 into 100.
So tell me how you did that.
I multiplied 25 by 4, then I multiplied 17 by 4. So then I got.
Oh, okay, so you made this equivalent to 100 on the bottom. So if I had to multiply that by 4, I multiply this by 4, and I get 68. Anything else?
That's kind of what I did. I just knew that 25 times 4 was 100, so I just multiplied 17 times 4.
So you basically did it
Yeah.
this way, yeah. Just make sure you're setting it up also and showing me how you're doing it.
I did is over equals percent over 100.
Okay, so the is was the,
17,
of was the,
25.
percent is the question mark, right? And this was 100. So then did you do this?
Yeah.
So then she took 17 times 100, which is 1,700, equals 25, basically x. Then divide by 25, divide by 25. When I did that division, you get 68. So you have 1, 2, 3 different ways that you could have solved this. To be honest, I kinda like Brody's way, cause isn't that much faster? Either way is fine. Go ahead and